Hey, I'm Jeff, spiritual escape artist. Welcome. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about a superpower that we all have access to that often goes under the radar. Something of great power, something that if you learn, you can gain great influence over your life, overcome suffering, mental chatter, and develop healthier relationships in all aspects of your life. It's called listening. Listening is very primal, it's very fundamental, and most people aren't doing it. Most people don't actually listen. I see it all day. People are, instead of listening, thinking. So these are two opposing activities that can only be done one at a time. You can only do one or the other at a time. You can't do both. If you are listening and thinking, you are only receiving fractions of information because your attention is divided into multiple sectors. So you are not, in a sense, undivided in your attention on one thing. And that's what we're here talking today about when it comes to listening. Listening is a superpower. And if you can learn to really strengthen that muscle, it will open up all sorts of avenues of opportunity for you. For instance, in a conversation, perhaps with someone that you consider to be unconscious or difficult to deal with, somebody that you have a hard time making a connection with. It can be, if you're intelligent, as I'm sure you are, and you are having a conversation with someone that maybe doesn't listen to you or doesn't have any empathy, can't feel where you're coming from, and you're always butting heads with that person. Take time to simply listen and pay attention. Instead of assuming how they think or thinking about what you're going to say to them in response, what you're going to say next. A lot of people interact this way, and you can see the gears turning. Their eyes are moving around in their head because they're not listening, they're thinking. It's very different. These are very different things, completely different activities. Thinking will gum you up and keep you from listening. And if you are thinking about these things I just mentioned, thinking about how they think, or thinking about what you need to say, instead of listening, you will miss excellent cues, excellent points of information that if you had heard that, you would completely adjust what you're going to say next to create a much more fluid and effective connection with that person. So you shoot yourself in the foot when you believe that you can't, if you consider yourself a conscious person or intelligent person and you can't talk to certain people, perhaps in your family or at work. You actually shoot yourself in the foot before you even get the chance because you're not listening. You think you know, but you don't. You got to pay attention. You got to pay attention to learn and to truly understand. Thinking isn't going to do that for you. Listening and paying attention is what does that for you. So, another way of putting it is, again, pointing out that listening and thinking are completely different activities. You can't do one and the other at the same time. If you focus on listening, like say, put on some headphones, listen to some music, and really listen to it. I want you to notice every little thing, every little cymbal and hi-hat, every little kick beat, every little nuance of the melody, of the vocals, every little word. Try and pick out the words that you didn't hear all the time. You don't normally hear. Sometimes you'll find that lyrics aren't even what you think you're hearing, and you're actually hearing what you're hearing is completely different because you're not all there fully tuned in to what you're doing. So learning to listen is the same thing as meditating. And it doesn't have to be sitting in a quiet room paying attention to your breath. It can be just listening impartially without having to identify and label and organize everything that you're hearing in your head while you're doing it. You want to put that activity down and just let it all come in as one total piece, as though the background sounds of the dogs barking and the traffic is part of the orchestra, and the people talking are part of the lyrics that are coming through on this great song of the universe that's just playing all the time. And listen to it without labeling it, without thinking it over. Just let it be what it is. Don't let all the little triggers pull you away from that. Come back to listening. Come back to listening. And you are strengthening a muscle that you will carry for the rest of your life into old age. Until your hearing goes. But that's besides the point. I digress. Listening is a superpower. Learn it, figure it out. It will help in all aspects of your life, including with meditation, including with quieting your own minds, because you need to be silent in order to listen. So it's teaching you to be quiet. When you listen, you're quiet. When you're quiet, you listen. These are like the same activity occurring. So, thank you. If you like this, like, subscribe, tell somebody, share it with somebody. This has just been an off-the-cuff video, came straight to my mind, onto the camera. Here it is right now. Thanks for watching.